Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe it. Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
I wanted to use this time to be able to talk about this very exciting undertaking that we have embarked on in our campaign to challenge the vote count, to basically call for a recount in 3 states, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and in Pennsylvania. And essentially what we're doing here is standing up for an election system that we can trust. And we demand voting systems that are accurate, that are publicly controlled, that are not privatized, that are not seeking profit-driven corporations. We also, demand an end to voter intimidation. In this recount effort now, we are not attempting to overthrow Donald Trump, and I don't expect that will be the outcome. We do not have a smoking gun that shows that there was, beyond a doubt, vote fraud going on here. But let me say, we do not need to prove that there was fraud in order to justify a voting system that is secure and that we have confidence in.
Okay, so that's why it's happening. All right? Did the media explain that to you? Did they? I think not. No, I don't think they explained why. I'm not really sure that they explained why. All I can tell you is that Donald Trump tweeted, cheated. He cheated. Donald Trump, there, it was Freudian. Woo, oh my, wow. So early in the day. No, he tweeted. He said, this is crazy. He said, in addition to winning the Electoral College in a landslide, I won the popular vote if you deduct the millions of people who voted illegally. Oh my God, I cannot live with a man this needy. For 4 years, I cannot do it. Help us, dear Jesus, baby. It's the season. He's the reason for the season, the baby Jesus. The sweet baby Jesus, help us. I reach out to you. Help us. I cannot live with a man this needy. I mean, it's the most incredible thing in the world. You orange dimwit. You won the election. For Pete's sake, just enjoy it or something. I mean, over the weekend, there was all this news about him going to the New York Times. And remember, this is where we left off on Wednesday. Wednesday, he had gone to the New York Times and he had sat with them and he had said things like, like an hour before, or 7 hours before the meeting, he had tweeted, I'm having a meeting with the failing New York Times. I'm going to go and I'm going to, and then everybody came out of the meeting and said, oh my God, he was so flattering to us. It was incredible how nice he was. He's called us a jewel, not just a national jewel, but a global jewel. I love the New York Times. It's been part of my life forever. What is wrong with this man? And it scares me because this means that he will kiss up to anybody he's in a room with or he listens to the last person that, he's in it's just an amazing thing. So now, after all this with the New York Times and saying what a jewel they are, and Frank Bruni, he said, oh my God, this man is like so super needy. I never saw anything, like him. He's just, he came up to the Times and he kissed everybody's ass and he said, hey, let me talk about me. And, this was a big win and what a great win. It was my win and blah, blah. And he said that he never saw a narcissist like this in his life. He never saw somebody that needy and needing applause and needing praise and needing love and needing somebody to hump his leg and grab him by the crotch and just, pull him in and kiss him on the lips and just, wherever he could land, just kiss him there. And it's amazing because Donald Trump just did to America what he did to all those women. He just grabbed America by the, nether regions and just pulled it in towards him. And we didn't want to go there because apparently she won by over 2 million votes. in the popular vote. And so now he can't accept that. He just can't accept it, even though he is going to be the next president of the United States, barring any weirdness in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, which, by the way, have they called Michigan? I said to my friend Stephen Karen, remember the night of the election, Karen was laying on the couch and she was going, why is this happening? Randi, do something. Why is this happening? Why? And I said, I don't know. I'm waiting until they call Michigan. I'm in such denial. I will not concede until they call Michigan. I don't think they have. And so, you have these questions out there about whether or not the provisional ballots were counted. You have these questions out there about whether or not, people who voted absentee, did their ballots get counted? That is what an audit is. And as long as Jill Stein raised $7 million, which to me is unbelievable, this shows the level of depression. This shows the level of depression in this country over the outcome of the Electoral College, which, by the way, hasn't come out yet. It will on the 19th of December. And so until then, I'm not accepting either. I just can't. Because this man is tweeting. He's tweeting about how his Electoral College victory is good, but he would have won the popular vote too if only all these illegals hadn't voted. I'm like, who is he talking? What is he talking about? It's just, So here you have a man who's got an Electoral College victory, but his pathetic little fragile ego cannot take the fact that 2 million more Americans didn't want him. And he's just going, he's having like a Twitter war out there. I mean, yesterday was the weirdest thing. He was tweeting like five tweets an hour, 10 to, it was crazy. It's like he erupts into this manic state of Twitterism, he just can't stop typing on the phone. He just can't stop. It's amazing. It's amazing. He has to try to claim that millions of people voted illegally, only in places that Hillary won. Because in Trump's mind, any vote that wasn't for him is a fraudulent vote. Any vote. And where did he get this information? I'm thinking, is there a factory that manufactures this? Well, yeah, it's called Facebook. And it's also called InfoWars. Okay, he got this off of Alex Jones. There was a headline on the InfoWars that said, report 3 million votes in presidential election cast by illegal aliens. And since this is Alex Jones, he probably means extraterrestrials because he is that batshit. Oh my God. So he's getting his info. He won't take, I'm sure you've heard, he's not taking intelligence briefings. He just won't have it. He doesn't trust them. He doesn't believe them. So he's taking he says, I hear things. Yeah, he's hearing them from Alex Jones and the tinfoil hat crowd. And he's retweeting it. He's actually, it's unbelievable. So here you have Alex Jones. He's customizing realities for people who want new ones. But there's only one reality. And the reality is he won the Electoral College, but he failed to win the popular vote by 2 million, which, by the way, is insane. It's insane. And so what's going on in these 3 states is the exit polls don't match the results. And so when people leave the polling place and they are exit polled, have you ever been exit polled? I've never been polled exit-wise. If I had been exit polled, I would be married to a multi-billionaire because that's what it takes. You have to let them exit poll you. But I've never been exit polled. And quite frankly, the exit polls don't match the results of the votes in Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan. They can't seem to count the votes, and it's been 3 weeks now. Now, Pat McCrory, just so that, you don't start, sweating all over me with your apoplectic, bizarre behavior. Pat McCrory, the Republican in North Carolina, he's calling for a recount too. So something's not right. Something's wrong. And is that wrong thing miscalibrated machines? I don't know. Is the wrong thing that the provisional ballots haven't been counted? I don't know. Is the thing that's wrong absentee ballots weren't counted? Mail-in ballots weren't? I don't know. Did they put them in a bin? Did they say, oh, yeah, here you go. Why were people forced to vote provisionally? Okay, I know I almost was forced to vote provisionally in the primary, and I wouldn't do it. I went down to the election supervisor's office and I asked why I was thrown off the rolls because I had been purged. And I asked them why. And they told me, we send a little postcard to your house. See, is what we do here. And, should you throw it away with your crate and barrel catalog or with your hunting camo gear catalog and you don't return it, then we take you off the voter rolls because we think that you've moved. I said, well, that's ridiculous. You know how much junk mail I get? And the postcards are only getting bigger and bigger. Everybody's got these oversized postcards and stuff. So if I get a little paltry one, I go, oh, this person has absolutely no backing and no reason to respond. So I just throw it away and I wait for the very big ones, the glossy ones, the ones on the heavy paper. Don't you? Yeah. And so she said, well, we sent a postcard to your house and you didn't send it back and therefore we purged you. And I go, well, I've lived in that same house for, 16 years and I pay my taxes on that house. Go check the tax rolls and do me a favor, print out my past voting history. So she did. She printed out my past voting history and it showed that I had voted in 2010 and 2012 and 2014. So what was wrong with me? Right? Nothing. But it took me 3 hours to get myself back on. And then, of course, you can't vote at the election supervisor's office. So then you have to go back to your precinct, which takes another half hour. So it took me 3.5 hours to vote in the primary for Bernie. Yeah. So anyway, this happens to people all the time. This audit of the vote is intended to look to see if people were forced to vote provisionally for no fair reason. Were they challenged wrongly? Did they understand why they were challenged? Did their votes ever get counted? And if their votes didn't get counted, then who challenged them after the fact? And on what grounds were they challenged? That's what this audit is about. But Donald, and at first I thought, hey, nothing will come of this. It's a nice try, blah, blah, blah. Of course, the media reported it as Jill Stein's a real parasite. And she's leeching onto you, leeching, and she's sucking out your money, sucking it out. And I thought, I don't think so. That's ridiculous. So that made me want her to go forward more, just because they were saying she was a horrible person. You know what I mean? I thought, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. She may be a scofflaw in that she spray paints when she's in, North Dakota. She's a vandal. But a felon or somebody, to look down your nose at? No. So anyway, then I started rooting for her, and I watched it go from 2 million to 3 million to 4 million to 5 million. Then she was she was upping her goal, and I thought, all right. So the media's like, there's no guarantee she's going to call for a recount, and she might be padding her pot. And the more they said it, the more I wanted her to raise money. The more they trashed her, the more I believed in what she was doing, and realized that she was willing to go to court. This was going to be legal fees. This was going to be massive legal fees, and that's what this money was about. So. And then Donald Trump starts tweeting. He's apoplectic about the recount. And I thought, now we have to do it. Now I'm all into it. Now I really want it to happen. Now I'm like, I'll give her $20 more. I'm going to give her $25. I'll give her $100. Oh no, $150, $200. Because anything that drives him crazy, I'm for. Anything at all. And the more he tweeted that millions of people voted illegally, the more I wanted to give. It seemed like a good idea just to audit the vote. Why not? And then all of a sudden, Hillary's people, they said, well, we're going to be there too because, hey, if you're going to audit the vote, we'd like to see. And you know something? The media played that, oh, now Hillary's backing a recount. She's not backing anything. If they were going to recount your class election and you lost by, 27,000 votes out of millions of people in your school, and you knew that some of those people had to vote a different way than other people, wouldn't you want to see what happened? Wouldn't you want to be there when they audited the vote? I would. And if Trump is smart, then he will send somebody there too. But you just can't keep yelling scam Because the more you yell scam and the more you make the case that the election was rigged and the more you say that illegals voted, the more I want the thing audited. It's just that simple. You can't not do it. The more he mentions a recount, he's like Bobby Knight throwing folding chairs at the floor during a basketball game because we're going to audit the vote. And the more he reacts to it that way, the more I want it. At first, I was like, good idea. Here's $20. Let's audit the vote. We do deserve to vote. I find out Pennsylvania votes on machines that don't leave a paper ballot. You can't even, they don't even know what they're going to do there yet. I'm sure they do, but the media won't tell you. So I don't know, because the media hasn't told me. In fact, the media hasn't explained why an audit in the first place to anybody. To anybody. It's all been one big conspiracy theory, and Donald Trump tweeted, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, the more he tweets, the more I want this. I really, really want it just because I know it drives him crazy. That's the one reason. And the second reason is because we should not be voting on machines that leave no paper trail. It's just stupid. So yes, we'll ask for an audit. Don't get all crazy about it, though, like Pat McCrory in North Carolina, for God's sake. That just makes you look bad, right? So he says, it would have been much easier for me to win the so-called popular vote than the Electoral College. Why is he calling it the so-called popular vote? Oh, that's right. He didn't win it. And then Kellyanne Conway, she gets on the TV and she says, well, the Clintons are going to have to decide whether they're going to be a bunch of crybabies. And then her boy Donald is the one that's throwing this major fit on the Twitter. And then she starts attacking Mitt Romney, one of his candidates for Secretary of State. This is so bizarre. It's like they're begging us to do it. It's like they don't want to be the president.
Clear for takeoff. Randi Rhodes Air Force. Air Force. RandiRhodes.com.
Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.